If you need any more proof that Bernie Sanders is the real deal, watch this clip from Fox News. Sounds like they're getting a little bit scared.
Socialism, a harmless thing until it finds real power, then it's deadly. For if he could, Bernie would gladly turn us into Greece, or worse, Venezuela, where toilet paper rolls are emptier than Athens ATMs. This dope once adored the Sandinistas, a toxic bunch of commies. Sanders is so nutty, most kids should be allergic to him. So why does the media overlook this? The press loves the guy because they assume his bad ideas may never see the light of day, but one can dream.
Yeah, one can dream of a day when he's not on the TV. Anyway, we're going to play some more of that in just a minute. Persuasive case from Greg Gutfeld?
Of course
about
not.
Why Bernie Sanders is a nothing, an extremist, he'll never make it?
Of course not. I actually am looking at the silver lining of that segment because understand that Fox News viewers aren't going to vote for Bernie Sanders anyway. They're right-wing. They're going to vote for whoever wins the Republican ticket, be it Trump or Jeb Bush, which is disastrous. So he's really speaking to an audience that isn't going to change their mind anyway.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's doing that segment shows that they see Bernie Sanders as an actual threat. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because why would you attack someone who stands no chance?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think I don't think we're going to play any of Juan Williams, who's the liberal on the panel, but he apparently said, oh, I love how you guys were building Bernie up before he was drawing these huge crowds and all this money, but now all of a sudden he needs to be knocked down, which implies that behind his artificial smile, which, by the way, we can never let this happen again. What the crap? I don't want to see him over my shoulder. Behind that smile is a little bit of fear. And look, we could spend a lot of time breaking down the individual things he said. For if he could, Bernie would gladly turn America into Greece. Why would he gladly do that? I don't understand. Greece is having a lot of trouble. By the way, Greece also...
It's just the fear-mongering language that Fox News always uses. Do you think that they're going to look into the nuance of what's happening in Greece? Of course not. Fox News viewers are like, oh shit, things are fucked up in Greece. We don't want that. What are we going to do?
Yeah, and by the way, Greece is now integrated in the EU and the Eurozone with these other European countries and is considering possibly breaking away because things have become tough. That sounds more like what a Republican would say about a U.S. state than what Bernie Sanders would actually say. But anyway, why don't we jump back into Greg Gutfeld's rant?
He wants to raise the tax rate for top earners to more than 50%, the highest in 30 years, after the worst recovery in history. His goal is not to get America back on its feet, but to put it under for good. He wants free tuition for colleges, a great idea if you think money grows on bongs. He said he'd hire Paul Krugman for his cabinet, which is like hiring Jeffrey Dahmer as your chef. He applauded Greece's no vote, which is like applauding two lovers as they jump off a tall building, which really is socialism, a leap that always ends badly. Inevitably, you just run out of cash, just like you run out of distance between roof and sidewalk.
Yeah, that's why the big banks ran out of cash and need to be bailed out. Too much socialism.
He's insane. So
he's just insane and also knows nothing about history.
The jokes were bad. He stated the policy ideas that Bernie Sanders has that he's not in favor of, like free college education and increasing taxes on the wealthy. But here's the thing. You can actually allow for people to go to college for free if you have money available for it, right? If the government has the money available for it. How do you come up with that money? You just raise taxes on people who should be paying more on their taxes. It's that simple.
Have you been smoking a bong recently? Apparently that's where these crazy ideas come from.
When you invest in education, you're not investing in one individual and that person's future. You're investing in America. You are investing in job growth here, innovation. You are dealing with the most important things necessary for a country to prosper. But they don't see it that way. They see education as something that's reserved for the wealthiest people because they want the wealthiest people to have children who have access to education that will lead them to prosperity. Anyone who's born in a poor or underprivileged situation, who cares about you?
Yeah, and look, imagine if everybody coming out of college didn't have college loan debt. If you combine that with the lesson that is drilled into every young American child that you should never, ever save money, every dollar that they will not be putting into their loans will be going into the economy, and they'll be buying cars and TVs and things on Amazon.
Right.
It would be an economic stimulus of the sort that America has never seen.
That is absolutely right. Okay, so right now, student loan debt is the second largest debt in America, right next to mortgages. And it gets bigger and bigger every year. Right now, we're at $1.3 trillion in student loan debt. That has had such a negative impact on the economy, because what's happening to millennials, the demographic that's most impacted by this? They're unable to buy homes. They're unable to buy cars. A lot of them don't have full-time jobs. They're underemployed or unemployed. And if they are underemployed, it just means that they're piecing together all these different jobs from different industries, just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
They don't have money to spend, and that has a negative impact on the economy. But see, that's the thing. Those are the nuances that he's not going to get to on Fox News, because the whole point of that segment is to throw Bernie Sanders under a bus.
Yeah.
To an audience that already doesn't like Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and I can understand how it would be hard to make a couple of points like that in a segment where you yourself scripted the entire thing and have the access to God knows how many producers and millions of dollars at Fox News. I don't know. For some reason, John Oliver seems to make do on a smaller staff. I don't know why that is.
Okay, you guys. But to be fair to Greg Gutfeld, the socialism is starting to permeate through the Republican candidates as well. Because Marco Rubio called colleges are operating as a cartel, taking money from all of our students now. We need a holistic overhaul. We need to change how we provide degrees, how those degrees are assessed, and how much that access costs, and how those costs are paid. And even
Rubio
how those
for president.
payments are determined. Rubio, socialist.
Socialist.
Smoking bongs.
Exactly. That water he reached for, that was bong water. No, now nobody knows that.
Ew.
Yeah, by the way, I also love that they can't think of college without making a reference to bongs and drug use. That's what they think of higher education. It's just drug use.
Well, now we know what they were doing when they were in college.
Yeah. And then finally, I have to point this out just because it shows such a lack of understanding of history. But he said there, he wants to raise the tax rate for top earners to more than 50%. That's the highest in 30 years after the worst recovery in history. I love that they now have to admit that there was a recovery. They're saying it's the worst. I would agree it was bad, but only because almost all of the gains from the recovery have gone to the sorts of people who caused the recession in the first place. But also, you remember the last time our top tax rate was above 50%? That was after the Great Depression, after World War II, and it led to 30, 40, 50 years of sustained economic growth of a sort that the world has never seen before. But I only know that because I was in history classes smoking bongs and stuff. That apparently has eluded Greg Gutfeld. But to circle back to the beginning of this should show you that whether Hillary really believes that Bernie Sanders has a chance, whether liberal pundits really believe that Bernie Sanders has a chance, Fox News is legitimately scared of Bernie Sanders, either the chance that he could become president or that the sorts of policies he's pushing could be popular enough that Hillary Clinton feels the need to adopt some of them for herself.
Exactly.
Yes. This is a new endorsement for Bernie Sanders coming from Fox News.